Hello viewers and our awesome subscribers. Thank you for being here with us. Some of you have asked for reading practice. That's what we're doing today, reading practice part 3, which is the part that some people struggle with. By the way, I also have a very important and exciting announcement. We now have released our CELPIP reading practice ebook. You can find more information on our website www.prestoenglish.com. But in short, it has 5 reading mock tests as well as skill building questions to sharpen your senses and intuition in solving the reading questions. Check it out. And don't forget to join our 7-day CELPIP online training before your test. New start dates are always added on our website. Let's have a look at our reading passage. You can download the PDF of this reading practice to the link in the description. That way you can try solve the questions yourself first and come back to watch how I solve the questions. I'm not saying my way is the best way, but I want to share my approach, and I hope you guys can take away some tips or strategies through this video. Keep in mind that you have only 10 minutes to read and finish the questions. Okay, did you finish solving the questions? I'll read this quickly and share my thoughts on the reading as I go along. By the way, I haven't read this before. Someone else prepared the questions, so this is my first time reading it just like you guys. Let's read quickly. The first Olympic Winter Games were held in Chamonix, France from the 25th of January to the 5th of February 1924. Canada sent 12 athletes, 11 men, 1 woman, to the Games and won the gold medal in ice hockey. The country finished 9th in the overall medal count. In 1921, despite the reservations of Pierre de Coubertin, founder of the modern Olympic movement, the Olympic Congress voted that the IOC should arrange winter sports competitions in conjunction with the Olympic Games. In 1924, a separate International Winter Sports Week was held during the winter in Chamonix, France, in celebration of the Paris Olympic Games later that year. Of the 258 athletes from 16 nations who competed, 245 were men and 13 were women. The only sport open to women at the time was figure skating. So to me, this paragraph seems to be talking about the history of the first Olympic Winter Games. B. The Games were a great success, convincing Pierre de Coubertin that winter sports belonged in the Olympics. During the closing ceremonies, he announced that winter sports have about them a certain purity, and that is why I was inclined to support and nurture them in this Olympic environment. The Chamonix competitions were retroactively named the first Olympic Winter Games. So to me, this paragraph B is talking about the change of mind of Pierre de Coubertin. He didn't like the idea of the Winter Sports Olympics in the beginning, but later he reversed course. Paragraph C. The first Olympic Winter Games gold medal was awarded to Charles Jutra of Lake Placid, New York, for the men's 500 meter speed skating event, while Finnish skater Klas Thernberg won 5 medals overall in speed skating. Norwegian Thorleif Haug dominated the Nordic skiing competitions, while Norwegian figure skater Sonja Henie made her debut at the age of 11. Although she finished last, she would go on to win gold at the following Winter Games in 1928. So this paragraph mentioned a couple of athletes who won the medals in the Games. Paragraph D. Canada sent 12 athletes to the 1924 Games in Chamonix, including figure skater Cecil Smith, the country's first female Olympian, and her Paris partner Melville Rogers, as well as speed skater Charles Gorman. The 9-man Canadian ice hockey team, comprising Granite Club players from Toronto, won all 5 of its matches, outscoring its opponents 110-3. The closest contest was the gold medal game, in which Canada defeated the United States 6-1. Harry Watson was the star of the hockey team, scoring 37 goals. This paragraph is talking about the Canadian athletes who are competing in these games. First and foremost, I prefer to read the text quickly before I go to the questions. Again, this is just my preference. Some people say they like reading the questions first. There is no right or wrong way as long as you get the right answers. I like reading the text first because it gives me a good idea what the passage is about and the different topics that are covered in each paragraph. So when I see the statements in the questions, I may have some guesses on which paragraph contains that information. Let's begin. So let's go over the statements from 1 to 9. Number 1, the sports competitions in Chamonix were later called the first Olympic Winter Games. So this seems to be related to the history, which I read in paragraph 1. The event was originally called International Winter Sports Week, but that's not what the statement is about. The statement is about the change of the name. So later it was referred as the first Olympic Winter Games. So the answer is B. Statement number 2, the first Olympic Winter Games were held in the same year as the Olympic Games. This is still related to the history, so I'm going to start looking at paragraph A again. They were held in the same year. Okay, so here, the Olympic Congress voted that the IOC should arrange winter sports competition in conjunction with the Olympic Games. So they voted that they would do it together. The International Winter Sports Week was held in celebration of the Paris Olympic Games later that year. So the Paris Olympic Games were the Summer Olympics. So they happened in the same year. So the answer for statement number 2 is A. Number 3, most of the medalists came from one country. I know that paragraphs C and D, I think we're talking about some of the athletes. So I would start looking there instead of paragraph A or paragraph B. That's why I said in the beginning that I like reading the passage first, because it helps me decide where I should start reading. Most of the medalists came from one country. They mentioned different names of people and their nationalities, but I don't believe they mentioned that the medalists came mostly from one country. So for that reason, I'm just going to say it's E for now. I might change my mind later, but I'm pretty sure the answer is C. Number 4, the United States won a silver medal in ice hockey. So the ice hockey games were mentioned in the last paragraph. And the 9-man Canadian ice hockey team won all 5 of its matches, or this one. The closest contest was the gold medal game, so that's the final game, and Canada defeated the United States 6-1. So Canada won gold medal, and the United States won the silver medal because they're the runner-up. Number 4, the answer is D. Please like the video and subscribe to Presto English if you need to take the CELPIP exam. Number 5, athletes under 17 years old could compete. Speaking of athletes, in paragraph C, there is that athlete who was very young. Norwegian figure skater Sonja Henie made her debut at the age of 11. And 11 is under 17, so I can say the statement in number 5 can be found in paragraph C. And 6, Canada sent male and female athletes to compete in the first Olympic Winter Games. This one I remember right in the beginning. They mentioned that Canada sent 12 athletes, 11 men, 1 woman. So the answer is A for sure. Number 7, the name of the sports competitions in Chamonix was changed by Pierre de Coubertin. I know they mentioned about the name change in paragraph B, but it didn't say that Pierre de Coubertin was the one who changed it. So I'm going to say the answer is E. Number 8, the Canadian ice hockey team was too strong for its opponents. So it's talking about the ice hockey games, the ice hockey team. Then I would start with paragraph D. Canada won the gold medal, and they outscored its opponents 110-3. Even in the last game, the closest game, they still won by 5 goals. So that statement is true, and it's in paragraph D. Number 9, the female Canadian athlete competed in figure skating in the International Winter Sports Week. So in paragraph A, they mentioned that Canada sent one female athlete. So now I need to figure out if she competed in figure skating. There is one woman. I think it's here at the end. So overall, there were 13 female athletes. The only sport open to women at the time was figure skating. So all the female athletes were figure skaters. So number 9, the answer is A. That's a little bit tricky. So you in this case, I guess that's what we call inferencing. It's not paraphrasing, it's inferencing. So we have 2 bonus questions here apparently. Let's go over these 2 questions, 2 statements. Number 1, the 1924 games were dominated by male athletes. Well, it's still fresh in my mind. 258 athletes from 16 nations who competed. 245 were men and 13 were women. So the women are like less than 10%. Number 1 is A again. Number 2, the youngest athlete to compete in the Winter Olympic Games is Norwegian. I think that statement is referring to this, paragraph C. Norwegian figure skater Sonja Hende made her debut at the age of 11. However, I don't believe this mentions that she's the youngest. The paragraph didn't directly say that. For that reason, I have to still say this is E, not given in any of the above paragraphs. Okay, now let me double check with the answer keys. So number 1 is B, number 2 A, number 3 E, number 4 D, number 5 C, number 6 A, number 7 E, number 8 D, number 9 A, and the 2 bonus questions A and E. Alright, so seems like I got all the questions right this time. Whew. I was worried I might make mistakes, but thankfully not today. Even sometimes I make mistakes, so I'm not saying that I'm always perfect. Let us know how many correct answers you got this time. Thank you for watching. Share your approach in solving the Part 3 questions in the comments. I think we all can learn from one another. Before I wrap this up, allow me to remind you once again, our new CELPIP reading book is now available for purchase. Go to our website, www.prestoenglish.com. You will save 20% on the price of the book when you sign up for our 7-day online CELPIP training. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us by email or go to our Facebook page to message us. I'll see you guys in the next video.